Hi, my name is Mike Ward. I'm the Global Director of Content at Scrip, Pink Sheet and Invivo. We're here at the Biotech Showcase 2018 in San Francisco, a meeting that takes place at the time of the JP Morgan healthcare meeting, where the pharmaceutical industry and biotechs and investors all get together to discuss some of the key issues that the industry faces. One of the interesting areas that has developed in recent years is the opportunities that the evolution of China is producing. I'm joined by Tony Chu, who's founder and managing partner of TPP Healthcare, which is, I guess, what you describe what you do, Tony.
So TPP Healthcare, we started this in about 5 years now, okay? And the primary objective was to link up US companies, innovative healthcare companies, with Chinese capital and Chinese strategic partners, right? So before this, we were doing some investments ourselves, and we quickly realized that this was just more than, it was definitely a wave that was more than what we can do. So we started this advisory business to help US companies to access China on capital and strategic partners. One thing we also do differently besides advisory is we also help them to do alliance management, So there's a lot of partnerships, not even small companies, even big companies, they if they're not well maintained, well managed, that they end up falling apart. Right. So with us, we're there for the long haul to help them with that.
So over the 5 years, how has the environment evolved?
Yeah, so it has evolved, like China, it has evolved very, very quickly, a lot. So when we first were doing this, Chinese companies, a lot of them, the chairmen that we talked to, these big pharma companies, didn't even have an understanding of, paying an upfront or milestone licensing fee. Now if you talk to them, you say, there's an upfront fee, and they think it's insulting. Like, I know how the game is run, So I think there's a lot of the understanding of Chinese companies have grown tremendously. And then also from that, you can see that the deal flow and the transactions have also grown tremendously.
So could you describe what sort of transactions are we talking about here?
Yeah, so there's all kinds that we've done, right? So there's pharmaceutical ones, so there's licensing deals where if a product is, usually we work with late stage, phase 2, phase 3 products, and then it gets into, you find them the right partner, and it's a licensing deal, so that's one area.
So this is Western companies
licensing the technology assets to Chinese companies, usually public companies that we work with in China. And then also there are investment deals where a Chinese company will invest in the US company, right? Either through a pipe through to a public company or to private, investments. Mainly these happen for our deals are medtech companies, diagnostics, medtech, where they'll take a partnership position in the US company or European company. And then also a licensing or JV deal will be struck in China where there will be some upside for the US company as well. But the Chinese company will essentially be the party that will take responsibility and run with it in China.
Right. And also sort of Chinese investment funds? I mean, are we seeing any fund flow that way as well?
Yeah. There's a lot of funds being deployed, but there's a lot more that's being prepared to be deployed to U.S. and European companies. I say U.S. and European companies because those are primarily companies we work with. And but basically any innovative company, right? Because they need to build that pipeline. So private equity VCs will help Chinese pharma companies build a pipeline. So a lot of the deals that we have transacted are a combination, like maybe a couple of VCs in conjunction with a licensing partner that's a public company that's in that area.
Okay, so what does a Western company have to attract the attention either in a licensing partner or to attract investment?
Right, so there's a myriad of but things that will trigger these type of things. And it's really, there's not one size fits all thing. So everything has to be different. So for us, we kind of look at the company. We first do the evaluation to make sure that that's something, that's an area that we understand, right? And if we understand that area, then we see if those are the ones that will fit the immediate network of the investors and the companies that we have. And we were the first ones to do it, we're the biggest, so we do have the biggest network. So if it doesn't fit the big network that we have, usually we kind of go and try to do another one. So I think, so kind of a roundabout way of answering your question, that there are very different criteria for each one. Once, I can only say that what we work on are mainly later stage products, because these ones will help us get the product into the Chinese patients much quicker than early stage.
So is there an example of some deals that you guys have helped transact that you're proud to talk about?
Yeah, so I mean, we've done a number of deals, right? So from large public companies, to small, very innovative, few people type of companies, right? So we had one transaction in the news with Biotech. Biotech licensed their omadacycline to Zai Labs, and both Biotech had the licensing deal, and Zai Lab went public in the U.S. Nasdaq market, and they're I think priced at 1.3 billion now. So that's one, and also smaller ones as well. Last year we helped a company in China link up with a diagnostic company here, Epic Sciences in San Diego. So that was a good investment transaction. We also helped European companies. We helped Legacy to do a transaction with a very small but focused company in China, right, in that area, for for their skincare type of products. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you run a sort of a meeting that runs sort of parallel with these here at JP Morgan. Is this the sort of the major sort of dating meeting that you run?
Right. So the meetings that we run are definitely the Biotech Showcase. That's why we're partners in this, right? So you guys do a showcase where you just link them. We are an advisory company, so we only take on meetings that we feel that we can help advise, or we interview companies here to see if there are companies that we can help with, right? So we have a ballroom there that in Park 55, where companies come and then they'll tell us what technologies they have, and from us we have us, and we have now 15. I think we have now 15 advisors over there, all guys that have a lot of knowledge in cross-border transactions, or guys that have companies already in China that in a specific area. And then we kind of say, okay, is this a technology that will fit China? Is this a technology that fit us to help with? Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you've got a sort of a list of sort of the capabilities and also the people who are actually looking for that kind of technology. So
yeah, we have a huge network in China. Then each of them, have different areas of specialization, and they also have different strength. Yeah. So yeah.
And how do the Chinese companies get the visibility with the sort of the Western businesses? I mean, how do you help with that?
Yeah, so the thing is that Chinese companies there's very fragmented market. So there's a lot of Chinese companies. If you go and say, all right, this is a huge company and they must fit me, well, that's probably it's probably not going to be the best choice. And when there's so many to choose from, it's too much information. You don't know which one's good. And there's also that issue with Chinese companies, historically been copying products. So you want to know which ones are the ones that you should work with, which ones are the ones that have a track record and honest people that you can work with. So presenting Chinese companies over here, you will get too many. So it's too difficult to present. So we actually selectively present some companies, but mainly we look at US companies and we fit them to the Chinese companies. So we're advisory for sell side, advisory for US companies, and fit them to the credible companies in China that, we give them a number of options and we advise them on which to potentially be working best for them and what the deal structure could be. Yeah. So also, but the other thing is that we're doing a conference in China. In that one, we'll have some Chinese companies presenting. These are companies that have done deals, have the ability, and they want to present to.
Okay, so this is a meeting that Western companies that you hope will attend.
Right. So this is a meeting that we're doing with conjunction with a few partners. Right. One is our strategic partner, B. Riley, FBR. Right? So we will have in March 15th to the 17th, we will have a conference in the Intercontinental Hotel in Hangzhou, China. So everybody's done Shanghai, Beijing, all that stuff. Hangzhou is a very beautiful city. It is one of the things, cities that the Chinese government are really pushing innovation to go to. This is a city where Tencent, Alibaba, all those tech guys are there, and they're very focused on healthcare. They want to do healthcare. So we partner with the city government to go and do a conference there. We're bringing between 50 to 100 US NASDAQ companies.
Right.
We're not just open to NASDAQ companies, any innovative companies, right? Okay. And then we are presenting them, so they're presenting in the ballrooms in there with a lot of investors and companies in China. And also some Chinese company who also want to present in front of the NASDAQ company, tell them what they want to do.
So if people want to present at that conference, how do they get an entry form?
Yeah, so basically I think you could just look at our website, either B. Riley FBR or the TPP Healthcare website, and then send us an email, because this is not a company where, we're getting thousands of companies. And we usually look at the company to see if it fits first, and then we go and say, okay, that's,
Okay, so what's the website or the email address?
Well, it's tpphealthcare.com. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, Tony, thanks very much for stopping by.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Exactly.
See you.
Thanks.